From whisper to voice, you study, you repeat, you write notes. And yet when it's time to speak, your mouth freezes. The words are there, but they get stuck somewhere between your mind and your lips. You try again, and the sound feels wrong. Too sharp, too flat, too foreign to be yours. You pause, you swallow, and that silence hurts more than the mistake. Take a breath with me. Let's try something small. Whisper, just a whisper. Good morning. Now, hum it. Let the sound vibrate in your chest. And now, say it out loud. Good morning. Did you hear that? That softness? That roundness? That's your real English voice waiting under all the rules and fear. Fluency isn't in your mind, it lives in your mouth. For years, I studied grammar, memorized words, chased perfection. But the moment I started retraining my mouth, everything changed. Mouth training. It's not about tongue twisters or accent drills. It's about retraining your breath, your muscles, and your rhythm, so the words can finally flow. Stay with me because in the next few minutes, you'll not just learn why this works. You'll feel it inside your voice. Stage 1. The silent problem. You've just felt it, right? That small shift in your voice. A softness that wasn't there before. It feels strange. Because for years, you've been taught to think before you speak. But no one ever taught you how to feel before you speak. That's why, even after years of study, your English still feels stuck. Not in your brain, but somewhere deeper. In your mouth, your breath, your nerves. Picture this. It's late at night. Your notebook is open. The page is full of words you know by heart. You whisper them. Perfect grammar, perfect spelling. But when you try to say them out loud, the sound breaks. Half air, half silence. You close your lips again. You stare at the page, and something inside you tightens, a mix of frustration and shame. I know that feeling. I used to sit in front of the mirror, repeating after YouTube videos, my lips trembling, my tongue stiff. The words in my mind were smooth, but the sound that came out cracked. Every time I tried harder, it got worse, because my mouth wasn't ready. It didn't know the movement, the rhythm, the shape. It was still thinking, not speaking. And maybe that's you too. You know every rule, but your voice feels foreign, like you're borrowing someone else's mouth. Pause for a second. Say this line softly, just for yourself. I know the words, but my mouth forgets. How did that feel? That gap between what you know and what you can say, that's the silent problem. And it's not your fault. You were trained to memorize, not to move. You were trained to listen, not to breathe. And fluency, real fluency, doesn't live in memory. It lives in motion. Let's test something. Say this sentence twice. What do you want to do today? First, say it slowly, word by word. What do you want to do today? Feel how your tongue stops, how each word breaks the flow. Now again, faster. Let the words connect, like a small wave rolling out of your mouth. What do you wanna do today? Hear that? The air flows, the mouth moves, and suddenly it sounds alive. That's not an accent trick. That's muscle. That's breath. That's fluency being felt, not forced. Your mouth has its own memory. Right now it's still locked, tensed by years of thinking before breathing. But the moment you learn to move it differently, everything changes. So stay with me. Because in the next part, I'll show you the 3 hidden switches that turn this silence into flow. The real mechanics of fluent speech. Stay one more minute. You'll unlock the 3 hidden switches of fluency. Stage 2. The three mechanisms of fluency. So, what actually happens inside your mouth when words refuse to flow? It's not magic, it's mechanics. Three hidden systems that shape every sound you make. They work quietly, every second, without you noticing, until one of them locks, and then the whole system freezes. Let's unlock them one by one. 1. Breath, the power beneath the words. Every word rides on air. Without air, there is no voice. And yet, most learners forget to breathe. When you speak Vietnamese, your sentences float on short, light breaths. But English travels in waves. It needs a longer breath, a steadier rhythm. If your breath cuts too early, your sentence dies halfway. The sound becomes tight. The voice trembles. Try this. Take a slow breath in. Now say, I'm learning to speak freely. Can you finish the sentence without gasping? If not, that's your first lock. Your body isn't giving enough air for your words to live. Fluency begins the moment you breathe consciously. 2. Shape. The art of the mouth. Your mouth is an instrument. And just like any instrument, it needs tuning. When you speak English, your lips stretch wider, your jaw drops lower, your tongue travels farther. The sounds are built not only by air, but by shape. Say 3. Now whisper tree. Different, right? The tip of your tongue moved. A small shift, but it changes everything. Most people learn sounds by listening. But fluent speakers learn by feeling. That was the mistake I made for years. I kept listening harder, but I never felt deeper. One morning, I stood in front of a mirror, holding a small cup of water. I tried to say the word river without spilling a single drop. At first, I failed. The R came out tight, the air pushed wrong. But slowly, I learned to roll the sound with my whole mouth, to let it vibrate instead of force it. When I finally said it right, the water stayed still. And I smiled. That's when I understood fluency hides in small muscles. Not in books, not in rules, but in the subtle shapes of sound. They feel the R, the vibration of L, the soft air of Tai. Close your eyes for a second. Say thank you. Now say it again, not with your ears, but with your muscles. That awareness, that's training. 3. Rhythm. The secret music of English. Every language has a rhythm. Vietnamese walks, English dances. You can hear it in the way words rise and fall, in the pulse between stressed syllables. Try this. Say, I don't know. Now stretch it like a melody. I don't know. Hear that rise and drop? That's the wave your mouth must surf. Fluency isn't about fast speech. It's about steady rhythm. Your brain and your mouth move together, like footsteps in time. So next time you speak, don't focus on words. Focus on the beat beneath them. Let your mouth move to the rhythm of air, not the rhythm of fear. When you breathe right, shape clearly, and move with rhythm, you stop forcing English and start flowing in it. Because fluency, at its core, isn't thinking faster. It's thinking less. It's letting your body remember what your mind already knows. So pause now. Take one deep breath. Ask yourself, which one of these feels weakest today? Your breath, your shape, or your rhythm? Keep that in mind, because in the next part, we'll train them together. With a simple method that reprograms your mouth from frozen to fluent. Pick one to fix today: breath, shape, or rhythm. Stage 3, the 3-3-3 protocol. Now that you know the 3 keys, breath, shape, and rhythm, it's time to bring them to life, because knowing why is easy, but training how, that's where fluency is born. There's a simple routine I call the 3-3-3 protocol. It sounds small, but it can rewire your mouth faster than any grammar rule ever could. Here's how it works. You'll train 3 phrases in 3 speeds for 3 rounds. That's it. Simple, but powerful. Let's start with the first set. Phrase 1. Could you help me? Say it slowly, word by word. Could you help me? Now a little faster. Could you help me? Now natural speed. Could you help me? Feel that? Your lips, tongue, and air start finding a rhythm of their own. That's muscle learning, not grammar learning, muscle. Phrase 2. Do you want to try? Slow first. Do you want try? Now normal. Do you want to try? Now fast, but relaxed. Do you want to try? Listen to it again. There's no tension, no gap between breath and sound. That's fluency growing in real time. Phrase 3, I'm trying to learn. Say it soft, like you're speaking to yourself. I'm trying to learn. Now again, stronger, smoother. I'm trying to learn. Now flow. I'm trying to learn. Hear the air? That's your breath-shaping sound. Take a small pause. That was round 1. Breathe in deeply, then exhale. Slowly, through your words. Now, do it again. Same 3 phrases, same 3 speeds. Don't chase perfection. Chase ease. Let your mouth move freely. This time, notice the small changes. How your jaw relaxes, how the words connect on their own. By round 3, you'll feel something shift. The mind quiets, the rhythm takes over, and suddenly, you're not repeating anymore. You're speaking. I practiced this for 7 days straight. Each morning, I'd whisper the 3 phrases while waiting for my coffee to brew. Each night, I'd repeat them softly until my breath slowed down. By day 3, my mouth stopped resisting. By day 5, the phrases felt like part of me. And by day 7, I noticed something strange. I no longer thought about words. I thought about feelings. That's how you know your mouth has started to remember. When I first tried this, it felt mechanical, almost silly. But on the 5th day, something clicked. I said a full sentence without translating, without freezing. It just came out. That's when I realized fluency doesn't start in your head. It starts in your breath and ends in your confidence. Every round trains your mouth to trust the movement, to speak before it doubts, to remember sound before the mind interrupts. So set a timer. 45 seconds, 3 phrases, 3 speeds, 3 rounds. Do it once a day, that's enough. Your mouth doesn't need force. It needs rhythm. And if you're still here, you're already retraining not just your mouth, but your courage. Stay with me. Because in the next part, we'll dive deeper into the breath itself. The bridge between sound and emotion, and the secret rhythm that makes speech alive. If you're still here, you're already retraining your mouth and your courage. Stage 4, the breath connection, the rhythm of air. Take one more breath. Feel it rise inside you, then fall, quietly. No effort. That's where English really begins. Not in the mind, but in the rhythm of your breath. When I first realized this, I stopped practicing words for a while. I practiced air. Because every language lives on the way we breathe. Vietnamese breathes in quick beats, short, precise, melodic. But English breathes like the tide. Longer waves, slower rhythm, a calm rise and fall. And when your breath still follows your old rhythm, your English can't flow. You may know the words, but they run out of air halfway. Your sound cracks, your tone shakes, your voice feels trapped. So today we train the one thing you've ignored the longest, the air that carries your words. Let's do it slowly. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe in through your nose. For 4 counts, hold for 2. Speak one short sentence as you breathe out for 4 counts. Then rest for 2. That's it. Box breathing. 4-2-4-2. Simple, but powerful. Now, whisper this line with the breath. I'm learning to breathe my words. You might feel the sound soften, the edges round out. That's your body beginning to trust the air again. That afternoon, I sat by the window and watched the trees outside sway in rhythm. I matched my breathing to the wind. Inhale when the branches rose. Exhale when they fell. For the first time, I felt language in my body. Not as words, but as movement. I whispered quietly, I'm not forcing English. I'm breathing it. And in that simple rhythm, something inside loosened. The fear of sounding wrong began to fade. The breath carried it away. Every time the wind passed through the leaves, it sounded like a sentence I could understand, soft, natural, without effort. That's when I realized the secret of fluency isn't controlling the air, it's listening to it. When your breath moves freely, your voice becomes honest. It stops trying to impress, it starts to express. Your breath decides the length of your courage. If your breath is shallow, your voice stays small. If your breath is steady, your voice expands. So before you speak, don't ask, what should I say? Ask instead, how should I breathe? Because when you breathe right, the words take care of themselves. I remember one morning, I tried to say something simple. I'm okay. But my voice cracked. Not because I didn't know the words, but because I didn't believe them. That's when I learned breathing isn't just physical, it's emotional. Every shallow breath hides a fear. Every deep one, a release. So if you ever feel nervous, don't fight it. Don't silence it. Just breathe deeper. Let the fear move through your lungs and out as sound. Your words don't have to be perfect. They just have to be alive. Now try this with me. Take one full breath in, speak this line slowly as you exhale. One breath, one line. That's your rhythm now. That's your anchor. Every time you open your mouth, remember this flow. Inhale, feel the air rise. Exhale, let the words ride it out. That's not just breathing. That's connection between your body and your voice, between what you feel and what you say. So take another slow breath. You're not just learning English anymore. You're learning presence. Because fluency isn't the absence of mistakes. It's the presence of breath. Stay with me. Next, we'll unlock the final barrier that holds your mouth, the quiet fear of being heard. And once that breaks, your voice will never hide again. One breath, one sentence. Try it now. When you breathe right, your words flow naturally. Stage 5. The psychological unlock. And now, we meet the hardest lock of all, the one inside, the quiet fear of being heard. You know that feeling, don't you? That split second before you speak, when your whole body freezes and a voice in your mind whispers, "What if I sound weird?" You try to clear your throat, to fix your accent, to sound more like them. But the harder you try, the smaller your voice becomes, because fear doesn't live in grammar. It lives in muscle, in breath, in memory. Every time you were corrected harshly, every time someone laughed at your pronunciation, every time you compared your voice to someone else's, a little tension stayed. Now each time you speak, that tension returns. Your jaw tightens, your chest stiffens, your breath shrinks, and you wonder why the words won't come out. Here's the truth. Your mouth cannot open when your heart is closed. Fluency is not just the freedom to speak, it's the freedom to sound like you. Let's try something together. It's called Shadow Without Judging. Find one short clip of a native speaker, a tone you like, a voice that feels calm. Play 10 seconds of it. Now shadow along. Follow the melody, the rhythm, the rise and fall. But here's the rule. You're not allowed to stop, not to fix, not to judge. Just flow with it. 30 seconds? No correction, no comparison, just breathing with another voice. Ready? Go. Now stop. Breathe. How did that feel? Strange at first? Then lighter, right? Because for the first time you spoke without the inner critic. You allowed your voice to move without asking for permission. That's the sound of freedom. When I first did this, I hated hearing my own playback. My accent felt heavy, my tone uneven. I wanted to delete every recording, but I kept going. 1 minute a day, and something started to change. My voice stopped hiding. It began to sound like me. Not perfect, but alive. One day a friend said, "You sound different, like you're smiling when you speak." I wasn't smiling, I was free. So if you're afraid of how you sound, remember this. You're not fixing a voice. You're finding one. The more you accept your own sound, the clearer it becomes. Perfection silences you. Permission frees you. When you let go of the need to impress, your English becomes human. And that's what people remember. Not the accent, but the emotion behind it. So today, give your mouth permission to be imperfect. Give your breath space to shake. Give your words the right to exist, even if they tremble. Because courage doesn't sound confident at first. It sounds real. Take one breath. Say something simple, and let it be enough. Stay with me. Because next, we'll enter the moment where everything flows together. The breath, the rhythm, the trust. And your mouth finally speaks without fear, without thought, without hesitation. That's where fluency truly lives. Shadow 30s? No judgment, just flow. Your mouth can't open when your heart is closed. Stage 6. The flow state. You've faced the fear. You've opened the mouth. You've learned to breathe again. Now, something begins to change. Your voice doesn't shake anymore. Your tongue stops fighting. Your breath feels warm, steady, alive. This is what I call the flow. Flow isn't fast, it's free. It's the moment when thought and breath move as one, where words come not from memory, but from rhythm. You felt it before? When you sing in the shower, when you hum without thinking, when you tell a story, and time disappears. That's flow. It's not just for artists. It's for anyone who finally stops trying to control every word. Let me show you what it feels like. Take a breath. Slowly. Now repeat after me. I used to overthink every single word. Pause. Until I let go. Again. I used to overthink every single word. Until I let go. Now say it without thinking, without breaking, like a wave that doesn't know where it ends. I used to overthink every single word, till I let go. Hear it? That's not grammar. That's music. When I reached this stage, I realized something powerful. Fluency isn't about being right. It's about being in rhythm. Every fluent speaker you admire isn't perfect. They're just relaxed. They ride their language like surfers ride the sea, with balance, not control. When you finally find that rhythm, it feels almost unreal. Time stretches. Minutes disappear. The words come, but you're not chasing them anymore. It's like dancing. Your feet move before your mind commands. Or swimming. The water lifts you once you stop fighting it. You begin to trust the sound that's already forming inside you. You stop editing yourself mid-sentence. You stop caring how you sound. You just flow. One evening, I recorded myself speaking for 2 minutes. When I listened back, I couldn't believe it. It didn't sound like the old me. It sounded like someone at peace. There were still small mistakes, but they didn't bother me anymore. They were part of the rhythm, like the pauses in a song. And I understood then, flow doesn't erase imperfection. It turns it into music. So if you stumble, let it be a beat. If you forget, let it be silence. And then continue. Because even silence belongs to the rhythm of speech. If you tighten your body, you fight the wave. But when you trust your balance, you glide. That's what your mouth must learn, to glide. Let's practice that together. Take this line. I'm not afraid to sound like me. Say it 3 times, each time softer, each time smoother. I'm not afraid to sound like me. Again, I'm not afraid to sound like me. Again, whisper, to sound like me. Now listen, you're not repeating anymore. You're becoming. That's the difference between practice and flow. Practice is trying to speak. Flow is letting yourself speak. When your mouth, your breath, and your feeling align, the sound that comes out isn't just English. It's you, translated. It's your heartbeat in another language, your emotion wearing new syllables. And that's what people feel when they say, you sound confident. They're not hearing skill. They're hearing peace. When I finally entered that state, I spoke for 2 minutes straight. Without planning, without pausing, without fear. When I finished, I laughed. Because I hadn't even realized I was speaking English. I was just speaking. That's flow. It's the end of translation, the end of hesitation, the beginning of freedom. So, if you've come this far, stop chasing fluency. Start chasing ease. Breathe. Speak. Let the words move through your mouth the way water moves through a river. Without force, without pause, just flow. And when you reach that moment, that quiet stillness where the air and sound move together, you'll know you're not learning English anymore. You're living it. Take a deep breath now. Whisper this line slowly. Fluency isn't about English anymore. It's about freedom. Feel that echo inside you. That's the sound of a voice that finally trusts itself. Stay here for a moment. Let it sink in. You've earned this stillness because everything you've done, every whisper, every breath, every brave little sound has brought you here, to flow, to freedom. Comment. I felt the flow. Fluency isn't about English anymore. It's about freedom. Stage 7. Integration and outro. Take a breath. Let it settle. You've come a long way, from whisper to voice, from silence to sound, from fear to flow. This is not just English anymore. This is your courage, translated into rhythm and air. Every word you've spoken here, even the shaky ones, was a step closer to trust, because fluency isn't a finish line. It's a way of breathing, a way of being. When your body remembers the rhythm, your mind finally rests. And your voice becomes peace in motion. Top closes the notebook. Exhale softly. The page is filled, but the journey has just begun. Because this was only day 1. Here's your checklist. 3-3-3 drills. Rhythm and memory. Box breathing, control and calm. Shadow without judging. Trust and release. Do them once a day. Not to be perfect, but to stay connected. And tomorrow, we continue. Day 2. The Rhythm Ladder. How to make your English flow like real conversation. Before you close this page, I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me earlier. It's okay to be slow. Slow is not failure. Slow is smooth, and smooth becomes fluent. Each pause you take is not a delay. It's a breath of awareness. Each mistake is not a setback. It's proof that you're learning aloud. You're not behind. You're unfolding. One breath, one sound, one brave sentence at a time. So before you go, take one last deep breath. Whisper this line softly. Speak, don't think. Let it echo in you, because now you no longer study English, you live it. Subscribe if you're retraining your mouth and your mind.